Welcome back to the pregame show. The RoughRiders playing Game 2 of their homestand and series against the San Antonio Missions. And I'm joined by one of the 5 new faces joining the RoughRiders yesterday, Jon Edwards, who was with the team for a brief time last September and making his second trip here to Frisco. And made your debut last night, Jon. 4 outs recorded, a couple strikeouts. Looked pretty good out there. How's it feel to be back?
It feels awesome, man. It's a blessing. I'm thrilled to be home and thrilled to be a part of this team and this organization, so enjoying it.
Like you said, being back here at home, you're from Keller, Texas, went to Keller High School here in the Metroplex. How surreal is it being back in your home market playing professional ball, something you've never done?
It's pretty much above and beyond what I could think or imagine, so it's awesome. It's been a total God thing, just the way things have happened and fell into place for me. I couldn't have put it together better myself. So,
is it something you even envisioned was in the realm of possibility when you were originally drafted by St. Louis? I mean, they have a team in the Texas League, but not even in Texas. So, they're being in the Rangers system isn't even something that seemed like it was ever in the works.
Yeah, you know what? I playing with them, I remember my dad always telling me, what you think is a setback is a divine setup. And he would tell me that and encourage me a lot. And it was just sometime later I started actually, around the time I got released, I kind of just every time I saw the Rangers, like I just had that like a burning desire to be there. So I thought it was pretty awesome the way it all came to play. So I knew that was in transition. I was believing for it, and then to see it all come to pass was pretty cool.
Well, after you left the St. Louis organization in 2010, played an indie ball for a year, and then transitioned over to being a pitcher, came to the Rangers system. Talk about what all that was like, the transition to becoming a pitcher, how that came about, that to begin with. Because when you were in indie ball, you started still as a position player there. Right,
yeah. Well, like I said, when I got released in 2010, like kind of a short summary of testimony, got released and then just made sure that baseball was where I was supposed to be and just kind of like cried out to the Lord to give me direction and help me and show me what I was supposed to do. And when I called the manager in San Angelo, I asked him, told him I could play, multiple positions, I could pitch even. I just wanted to play baseball. And so I went there and started playing. I wasn't hitting that great. I was kind of shaky, and then sat a few games, and the pitching coach said, hey, have Edwards throw another bullpen. He threw one early on in the year, and it went really well, and I threw one and was throwing 95 in the bullpen, and so he said, I think you should make a go at it. And I just all of it, man. Like I said, it's just been a total God thing, just kind of things that were put on my heart, and then just seeing them all kind of come to pass and happen. It's just been awesome.
Here with Jon Edwards, one of the newest RoughRiders, made his debut here this season last night. How did it come about that you became a Texas Ranger as far as being in the organization? How were you seen? How did that all happen? Not a lot of guys make it from the Pecos League back up to Double-A at some point.
Yeah, I know I keep repeating myself, but it was just a God thing. I have some friends, like I have a friend, I'm actually friends with Jackie Moore's son, Jonathan Moore, and we played ball together when we were little guys. And that was probably the last time I really pitched when I was that age, because he used to catch me all the time. And then I have another friend who used to be in the organization, Luis Ortiz, and he happened to have lunch with Tim Prepera, and then those guys happened to cross paths on the road, and they pulled over, and then he said, hey, did you hear Big John's pitching? And they sent a guy out and watched me throw a bullpen, and signed me the next day. So it was pretty crazy how that happened.
Well, and you said that you hadn't thrown since you were a little kid. I think a lot of players mess around and they act like they're a pitcher, and plenty of guys will try to throw a knuckleball or whatever. Yeah. How much did you toy with that, and what has been the transition like since you weren't really a pitcher? I mean, a lot of guys tinker, but you're talking about rebuilding who you are as a baseball player.
Yeah, it was pretty wild because in high school, when I tried to pitch a couple times and it didn't really work out too well. And so it was just like all of a sudden I got on the mound and it was like I was throwing strikes and everything felt natural and easy for me. It wasn't tough. And I mean, of course, I've been growing and stuff, but it just the transition, it was easy for me really. And it's been a growing process, as just developing as a pitcher. I think going out look more and more like a pitcher and less like an outfielder, but it's been good. I've enjoyed it.
And the development of you said you were throwing 95 when you first came out as a pitcher, but what about the development of your off-speed offerings? How did you figure out which pitches you wanted to throw? Who taught them to you? And you talk about where they stand now.
Yeah, that's kind of like simple adjustments, like things I've made along the way. I actually started throwing. I threw a curveball when I was a kid, which I know they said it's not good for you, but Mike Bassick taught me that. He's a former pitcher, and I always could spin it a little bit. And last year I actually threw a curveball. And then in the off-season instructs, they suggested throwing a slider, which actually came from Jeff Andrews, I believe, and I started working on that, just getting a little sharper, a little harder, kind of complement my fastball a little more, being just kind of making everything hard. So just those kind of like little adjustments, I think, has helped me develop as being a pitcher and being able to pitch to guys rather than just kind of slinging it up there. So.
And a lot of Ranger fans will know Alexi Ogando is a converted outfielder now in the big leagues. Have you talked to any converted outfielders or converted position players that have made the slide over to pitchers? I mean, a lot of guys at some point were a position player. Even on this team, Randy Henry was a high school shortstop. But have you talked to anyone that's followed a similar path to you and seeked any advice?
Not anybody that I can think of off the top of my head. That I know I have talked to a few guys that have maybe played a little bit of pro ball and converted, but I think most guys that I've talked to that have converted was before they were playing pro baseball. So
one of the things that a lot of people will say about converted position players is they don't have the wear and tear on their arm that a lot of guys do at this point in their careers in terms of the number of pro years they played. Obviously, you're only yourself. You can't compare yourself to anything else. But in talking to other pitchers, do you feel like you're sore less often, or you hurt less, or you have less arm problems than other guys do at this point in their careers?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty common. I tend to ask guys, like kind of just what kind of the routine is. Like, hey, are you sore the first day after you pitch or the second day? And I think it just kind of depends. And as I've been pitching, I think my arms just kind of loosened up, stretched out a little bit too, and just kind of get used to that, just constant throwing and I guess just stretching it out, and the rest of it, I just pretty much just turn it over to the Lord and just walk it out and play. So.
Here with Jon Edwards, you have some family in the ballpark this weekend, and anything special planned here for your first weekend back?
Yeah, last night my dad wasn't able to make it. He's going to probably make it out this weekend, and my stepmom and stepbrother, my fiance and soon-to-be brother-in-law, and her mother and friends, and a few of them were here last night, so that was cool. They got to watch me pitch, and I'm expecting quite a few more over this weekend. So.
Well, great stuff. I'm sure it's a whirlwind for you. Thanks for your time today. Good luck the rest of the season here.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That was Jon Edwards. We'll be back after this on the Frisco RoughRiders Baseball Network.